From the couple filing for divorce after being together for nearly 2 decades, to Christine Baumgartner asking for a whopping $248,000 in child support. Here's an inside look at all the messy details of Kevin Costner's divorce. It all started on May 1st, when Costner and Christine filed for divorce. While the two had been separated for some time before this, it was in May that they went public with the information. Costner was sad about everything that had happened because of some circumstances that were beyond his control, and now his marriage with Baumgartner was coming to an end. Keep in mind, they got married all the way back in 2004, so they were together for almost 2 decades, which must have made this even harder for Costner. When the news first came out, it wasn't clear why the two were splitting up, but Kevin had stated irreconcilable differences as one of the reasons. The worst part is this wasn't something he had wanted. And if it were up to him, he'd change the situation. This means that the decision to split up was very much something Christine decided. Fans were unsure if the two were going to go through with the whole thing. But on May 3rd, when Baumgartner made her first public appearance since the divorce announcement, folks noticed she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. This made it clear that this was something she was definitely serious about. As you'd expect with any high-profile divorce like this, rumors began flying, and it wasn't long before people started wondering if Yellowstone had something to do with their divorce. As it turns out, even though Costner was aware that Baumgartner was unhappy in their marriage, the divorce filing was still a shock to him. Kevin's demanding work schedule was starting to take its toll on not only Christine, but also their family. She wanted Costner to spend time with the family at their Santa Barbara home. But because of filming, he wasn't around much of the time, and his absence was clearly beginning to have a negative impact on the family. It's possible that because of how much time he had to spend away in Montana, Kevin wanted to have his filming hours on Yellowstone cut down for the show's 5th season. This would have allowed him to stay closer to his family instead of being a total workaholic. But here's the thing. It looks like Christine was hoping that after Yellowstone was wrapped up, Kevin would finally take some time off and stay with his family for a couple of months. It was already clear that the star was going to leave Yellowstone soon, so all Christine had to do was wait a couple of months until filming for the final season ended, and then she'd finally have Costner back at home to spend some quality family time. But here's the thing about Kevin. The dude's simply obsessed with working. It's like he doesn't consider doing anything else with his spare time. As soon as he pulled away from Yellowstone, the star started filming Horizon. This is his upcoming film series, and Kevin has been spending the majority of the last year shooting it. Christine was clearly not happy with this, because it meant that he'd once again be gone for long stretches of the year. In fact, the star was so crazy over this project that he didn't even complete filming his scenes for Yellowstone. This led to major production delays and caused Taylor Sheridan and the production crew to outright hate the guy. Now, the thing about Horizon is, this film is Kevin's dream project. It's something he's been trying to work on for decades at this point. And to give you an idea of the workload involved in this project, keep in mind that the Civil War saga is both written and directed by Costner himself. Not to mention, he's going to be acting in it too. And this isn't just a single movie either. It's a 4-part film series that'll likely take up a good chunk of the star's future. It sounds like Christine realized that Kevin was never going to give her and their kids the time she wanted, and would continue to work on Horizon until he was done with it. And who knows, maybe he'd jump onto another project after that was done. And so, splitting up might have been the only option she had to give the star a wake-up call in an attempt to make him realize how much of a workaholic he'd become. It didn't help that during all of this, Costner was still promoting his movie. On May 17th, he posted on Instagram that he was currently on the set of Horizon, and how he hadn't felt this way about a project since his 1990s movie, Dances with Wolves. That film won 7 Oscars, so it's clear that Kevin feels like he's tapped into something big with Horizon. While this dedication to his project is great to see, it's bittersweet too, considering how it's damaged his personal life. Fans feel like there must have been a way for him to continue working on the movie without sacrificing his marriage and a part of his mental peace in the process. Let's not forget that Kevin even took out a mortgage on his 10-acre home in Santa Barbara in order to pay for the movie's budget. He believes in the idea and story that much. But to an outsider, it may feel like he's outright obsessed with the project. Sadly, that's not the end of the completely messy details surrounding Kevin's divorce. On June 14th, the star claimed his ex-wife wasn't moving out of their home. Kevin stated that it was mentioned in their prenup that Christine had a 30-day period to move out of their home after the divorce filing. But despite the month-long time given to her, which is already expiring, she wasn't budging at all. Fans have even speculated that she wanted additional cash on top of the amount that was given to her in the prenup. This is despite the fact that Kevin went above and beyond to meet all of her requirements. The star was even willing to offer an advance payment of $10,000 to help Christine move to a new place. Plus, he was open to providing around $30,000 a month to cover the costs of a rental home. Even with all that, Christine's lawyers felt like Kevin had no legal basis to kick her out of the house. To them, it felt wrong to ask her and their kids to leave, especially when the kids have lived in that house their entire lives. But Costner's side fired back at this claim, mentioning that bringing the kids into this was a bit hypocritical. It's not like Kevin was kicking his own kids out of the house. He simply wanted Christine gone. And like I said, he was providing his ex-wife with all the help she might need to relocate and find a new place to stay too. Eventually, after weeks of legal back and forth, Christine finally agreed to leave the house. But it came with a catch. Baumgartner has stated that, assuming Costner is able to cover any support fees, while also adding in more money into the mix, she'll move out by August 31st. Christine wants to guarantee that she won't be left penniless after all this, and so is trying to get as much money out of the divorce as possible. She also requested $248,000 a month in child support for their 3 children. This didn't even include things such as their private school tuition or healthcare expenses, which will also come out of Kevin's pockets. Christine's legal team mentioned that their children are used to a certain type of lifestyle, and so even this figure was less than the amount needed to properly tend to their needs. At first, Kevin agreed to pay $38,000 in child support each month, while also covering any additional costs involved, like their tuition, fees, books, and school trips. But eventually, he increased his figure to around $123,000, adding that the amount Christine's legal team asked for was very inflated. After all, how expensive could providing for 3 minor children even be? Costner's lawyers added that even if you were to give them more than the bare necessities, an amount that high was obviously going to go towards unnecessary spending, which would benefit the supported parent and not the kids. Going by what has happened so far, it doesn't look like their legal problems are going to be ending anytime soon. So there you have it. From Christine Baumgartner asking for a whopping $248,000 in child support, to the couple filing for divorce after being together for almost 2 decades. That was an inside look at all the messy details of Kevin Costner's divorce.